Hey guys, I want to share something with you really quick. It is in James chapter 1 and starting at verse 13. It says, "Let no one say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he himself tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when he is drawn away by his own desires and enticed. Then when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death." Every sin you and I could ever think of doing is going to bring forth death. For example, if you decided that, let's take stealing. You see a shirt, whether it's in a store or you see it at a friend's house, you decide, I want that shirt. That is the focal point of your desire. Whatever you put your eyes on, that is the source of your desire. Okay? And then what's going to happen is when desire has conceived, so what you're going to do is you look at it and then you decide, you conceive the idea that I'm going to take that shirt, right? And so it gives birth to sin, right? So what you're going to do is you look at the shirt, you just decide that you want it. When your desire become conceived is when you make up your mind that you are going to take the shirt. So you put it in your mind and say, okay, it's a thought in your head to say, I'm going to take it. That's when you conceive the plot that you're going to take it. Once you take the shirt, once you do that, it gives birth to sin because now you have stolen. And sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. You get into the habit of stealing. Practice habitually doing the same thing over and over again. It brings forth death, right? Now, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about infidelity. Let's talk about, cheating. Let's talk about sexual immorality. Let's talk about all of that. All right. God is not tempting you with that man or that woman, that situation. It's what you want. So you look upon that man, that woman, whoever it is you're looking upon, and you decide, I want that person. That is your desire right there that the scripture talks about in verse 14, okay? 14, when it says, but each one is tempted when he is drawn by his own desires. So your desire becomes that man, that woman, okay? So you look at them and say, yeah, I want them. All right? Then what happens? Then when desire has conceived, now you look at them and you put it in your head that you give birth to the thought that I want to sleep with that man. I want to have sex with that woman. I want to have sexual intercourse or relation. I want to I want to be on the phone chatting. I want to sext. I want to Skype with this man's wife, this man's woman, or with this unmarried man, unmarried woman. Okay? That is when you are conceiving. And then when the desire has conceived, that means your focus has now become a thought and a plan to do something. It gives birth to sin. Now, how does it give birth to sin? Because now your mind, what you put in your head, you're going to put it into action. You're going to plan it. You're going to set it all up. You're going to get with that person. Okay? And sin, when it is full grown. Well, how does it become full grown? Because you keep doing it over and over again. Y'all got a full blown relationship going. You got this person, that person. You're doing all kinds of stuff. You are habitually sinning. You are meeting up. You're setting up. You're going. So your sin is growing. You're nurturing your sin with your actions. And when it is fully conceived, it brings forth death. And death can be physical, depending on what's going on. Death can be spiritual. Death can be just all kinds of stuff start going on. Sometimes the ramifications of your sin don't even fall on you. It falls on your family. Because let's say, for example, you've been having an affair and your spouse finds out about it, and then they go after that man, and then that man or woman end up taking your spouse out, end up killing them. Or now your spouse commits an act, whether they kill them or it's a serious enough crime, they are going away for a long time and your whole house is broken up. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you, sin takes time. There is no mistakes. Sin takes time to plan. It takes time to put it into action. When you are getting ready to have an affair, you have to plan it. You have to plan what you're going to, first of all, you both talk about it. You both desire each other. So then what you're going to do, you're conceiving it. You decide we're going to meet for the weekend. Then you have to sit there and talk about it and plan it. You have to figure out how you're going to lie to your significant other. You got to figure out how y'all going to meet up. You're going to think about what type of outfits you want to take, where you want to stay, who's going to rent the room, how you going to rent the room, where y'all going to go. You want to make sure you go somewhere where nobody knows you. You have to do all these different things. Then you have to lie to your husband, your wife. You have to lie to your kids. You have to pack a secret bag. You got to take it wherever you're going to take it. It's either in the car already, or you leave it at work, or you got a homegirl, homeboy that's helping you do that. Then you got to decide, oh, I'm going to, different outfits that you want to wear over the weekend or that night or just for that encounter. Then you got to clean yourself up. Then you got to get ready. You may go and go buy some things. You may put on some cologne. You may decide you're going to get your hair cut, get your hair done. You got to do all these things. Then you have to drive there. Then you have to tell your spouse a story. Then you have to, have any other little second and third plans in mind in case you get caught. Then you got to go to the hotel. Then you got to wait. Then you got to do whatever. Then you conceive, you engage in sexual intercourse together. And then you still have to come up with your plots and how you're going to answer the phone and sound normal for the rest of the day, and answer and talk to your kids if you need to, or tell your husband or your wife why you couldn't answer the phone and how it died. You understand that? You have to do all that over and over. And then guess what? It's going to bring forth death. That's how sin works. I know it may sound discombobulated, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. There are no accidents in sin. You are choosing to do it. You're choosing to do something over and over again. You're actually investing in it. You invite sin in. You allow it to enter your eye gate and your ear. You listen. You listening to those conversations. You having the talk with somebody else's spouse or wife. You having those conversations maybe as two single people. As two single people, you're supposed to be saved, and maybe you're not, but you're talking about sex and you're doing all these different things. And then what? You entertain it. Your desire, you conceive the ideas, you conceive the conversations, and then now you give birth to inappropriate conversations. You give birth to actions. You give birth to stealing. You give birth to lying. You give birth to maybe being, let's talk about other things, being deceptive, being manipulative. You're giving birth to that. And then what happens is when it's full grown, you're so good at lying. You're so good at knowing how to fix people's business and being so ugly and deceiving. And you know how to punish people, and you know how to be passive aggressive, and you know how to lie, and you know how to steal, and you know how to sleep with this one and that one, and you become so good at it that it's full grown, and it brings forth death. And how is it becoming full grown? A few of the things that I'm going to tell you, let you know your sin is full grown, is it gets easier for you to do it. And sometimes you do it so good, you surprise yourself. A sign that it's full grown is that you no longer feel any sort of remorse about it. You start to justify it. You start to tell yourself that why you deserve this thing, or why that person deserves what you're doing to them. You're no longer hearing the voice of God. And you do it without a second thought. You no longer have a conscience. I remember the very first time when I was away from home and I was going out to the club. And I was leaving late at night. And I remember that first night, I'll never forget, I was on the third floor of this patio of the barracks, which would be like dorms. And I'm looking and I was so like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting ready to go out. And I was so hesitant and I was so nervous. And I realized, mom, dad's not here. I can do this. And I want to tell you that with time of just going out every weekend or going out several nights a week and just partying and just doing, I no longer felt that. I would just get up and just go, and it just kept on going. And then sin leads you into other things, right? So understand how sin works. It takes work on your part. It takes full cooperation on our part to do it. It is a choice. Nothing just happens. You did not just have an affair. You did not just steal something. You did not just be nasty to that person. It's been practiced. And what's happening is it's full grown now. And it's full grown. It's used to just kind of, when your child is full grown, what happens when your child is full grown? When your child is small, you give birth to your child, right? And then you have to help them, right? But what you did, you gave birth to that sin and you fed it. And you kept it around and maybe you felt guilty at first and you kept going. But when your child is full grown, what can your son do? Now your son and daughter, they know how to, feed themselves, walk around, dress themselves, take themselves to different places. They kind of are on autopilot somewhat, right? You don't need to do those little things. It's fully functional and operational. And that's what happens when you keep on sinning. That's what happens when you keep on doing what you're doing. And just take away the whole picture of your child. When you are given leeway and allow the devil and allow sin to be on autopilot in your life, full grown habitually, it turns around and destroys you. Right now, you may be enjoying it. You may be enjoying it, but there are going to be ramifications. And you may say, I've been doing this for so long and it's worked out just fine. Okay. You're still enjoying it. Because a lot of times you have to realize there's a spiderweb effect here. You see, sometimes the enemy and the devil may allow you to still have everything set up nicely because it's possible that you're dealing with a specific person or that person is connected to another person in which your sin is connected to that person that's keeping this person from probably being and doing the things that they need to do, especially if it's, someone that may have a calling on their life or whatever it may be. Sometimes you're just being left in place and it's all good because there's some trickle down effects in the things that you're doing. There's something else that your actions, you're just looking at you and this person, but sometimes your actions, what you're doing is actually causing some other things and setbacks in other relationships and other areas. It's helping to keep someone bound. So the devil will keep you right where he needs you. But when he decides that, hey, I'm done, and you pray that God does not move his hedge away from you, you will see how sin can turn around on you. All right, guys, I'm going to come right back with another video. If you have not already done it, please like, share, or subscribe. It's a cute little button that's down there somewhere. That's very hard to see. But if you're enjoying my videos, why not subscribe, guys? Do that and share. Don't keep the good news to yourself. It's all about sharing and letting people know. And if it's blessed you, be rest assured that you're never just watching and listening to something for no reason whatsoever. There's somebody else that needs to hear what you're hearing. All right, guys, have a wonderful day.